We are in the exciting phase of realizing new dreams, a new vision, and new ideas. My name is Gnaneshwar Mule, your Consul General in New York. Ask Your CG is our joint venture with ITV to serve you better. In this show with Ashok Vyas, every month on ITV, we will share the latest developments and address all of your concerns. Ask Your CG on ITV.
Namaskar, I'm Ashok Vyas. In Ask Your CG program, again today, I have the pleasure of welcoming Muleji in his office itself for the viewers of ITV. Namaskar.
Namaskar.
Muleji, New Yorkers missed you for some time, and I believe you have had a recent India visit. Share with us briefly what do you consider are the fresh impressions and something exciting that you observed there?
I was in India for about 3 weeks plus, and I had the opportunity to visit Delhi plus my home state Maharashtra. And I was going after 1 year. What I saw is, I must say, rather spectacular, very memorable. I saw that the whole country is now charged. There is a new enthusiasm, particularly among youth. There is interest. People are becoming more extrovert. They are expressing themselves better. They have more awareness about the international and national developments. They want to participate in the nation's development. Particularly the youth is so charged that for the first time I realized that there is a new wave among the young generation, and there is a desire, strong desire, to be part of the nation's progress and development. I would say that's the most predominant impression that I had during this visit.
Muleji, I believe you also address students in some colleges, and so probably there was some question answer session. What was the most common query from youth of India for you?
Well, students were interested in developments in the US, developments in US-India relationship. They were also interested in knowing about technology. They wanted to know how women and youth can participate better in the national development. And they all were very, very eager to know about what's happening to India, in what way it's changing, whether its political system is taking the country forward, how they can try and reduce the corruption in the country. So what I saw is a kind of a tremendous vibrancy among the youth and students of the university.
So now, since we are in India with you, let's talk a little bit about the recent edition of Visa on Arrival scheme. How it is working? Has it made significant impact? And also allow me to ask you from some of our viewers if they want to consider suggesting some of their friends to take advantage of this Visa on Arrival, how should they go about it?
Well, Visa on Arrival is a very, very simple procedure, and you just have to go online, e-Visa on Arrival, and then it asks, there is a form there which asks very basic questions, 4 to 5 questions like your name, email, telephone number, address in India, etc., etc. And once you do that, you are asked to pay. Once you pay that, you get a slip, and once you present that in India on arrival, that's your visa. So it has had 3 kinds of impact. One is the pressure on the consulate has to some extent reduced. Number 2, those who are going for a short period, they don't need to really come to the consulate. And third is, which is to me very important, it has had a very positive impact on India's tourism. Number of incoming tourists has increased substantially. So this is to me a very positive, and as you know, Honorable Prime Minister Modi had made this promise at the Madison Square Garden to, number one, liberalize and make it easy for people to receive the visas, and number two, merge the OCI and PIO card. So here these have already been, both have already been implemented, and it is going to reduce the trouble that is taken by anybody who visits India. Also the Indians who have acquired nationality of other countries in connecting with India, and first time visitors who want to go for a short time, or those who want to go for a tourism, or those who want to go even on short casual business visits. It really makes things easy for them.
But we talk about the concern of NRIs. Some NRIs have their interest in India with their investment in property. So Deepak Kavaria, who has founded NRI Federation, he wants to know those NRIs who find themselves caught up in property disputes due to multiple reasons. Is there any government body, or is your office have a way of providing some assistance to them?
It's not always easy to find solution to property disputes, and we are quite aware of this fact that many NRIs are facing problems, partly because the properties in India have hugely escalated in terms of price in the last 10 years. There are disputes with relatives, there are disputes of the type of encroachments and legal rights being undermined of people. There are court cases going on. I do not see one simple solution to this problem. However, Ministry of Overseas Indian Affairs does assist in these matters to some extent, because the government itself cannot give judgment. It has to be, judgments have to come from the legal system, the courts, and courts in India are quite reliable, and therefore it's important that the legal route is adopted. Sometimes mediation works, and in these matters both the consulates as well as the Ministry of Overseas Indian Affairs, they do take a proactive role, but I must state that there is a limit to which government can actually enter in these kind of disputes.
So let's talk about harmony for a little while, and I have the pleasure of reading a letter that one would say is appreciation letter for the functioning of Consul General's office. I greatly appreciate your office obtaining my 10-year visa promptly with your help, assistance and personal intervention. So somebody is very happy, Mr. Mahesh is his name, and he has shared this openly, but there are many people who want to be happy, and we have one viewer who was happy that her parents are visiting from India, but Leena says that they lost their passport somewhere, and now she wants to know what is the way for them to move forward.
Well, it's fairly simple. Number one, they should register a police complaint in the nearby police station, and with that complaint and the details that they know of their passport, they should approach the nearest consulate. As you are aware, India has 5 consulates in the US. Besides the embassy in Washington, we have New York, we have Houston, we have Atlanta, we have Chicago, and we have San Francisco. So whichever is the nearest consulate, and these details as to which consulate deals with what states, that is available on the website. You can easily go and check these, or ask anybody, any other Indian, they will be able to tell you. And on the basis of details of your passport, lost passport, you should be able to get the new passport. Sometimes if your details are not fully verified, or they could not be verified, then you might be entitled for a short duration passport, so that you go back to India if you are a visitor, and then you apply for a long term passport in India.
So that is the potential solution you have, and we are here to seek solutions from CG, and he's very eager to extend his resources. So there is a new program which is
Consulate,
Consulate
at your doorstep.
Consulate at your doorstep. So tell us more about it, and allow me to say, when one hears consulate at your doorsteps, then you start imagining that consulate has something right. As I will open my door, I have the solution.
Well, that's true, that we would like to see that consulate does become your one-stop solution for all the issues. Now, its relationship between two countries is very multidimensional. You have issues regarding visas, passports, OCI card, PIO card, attestation, certificates, etc. You have issues regarding building the economic partnership, cultural partnership, educational partnership. Now, it's very important, we thought, that rather than sitting at the consulate, which we do, and sharing our views, we should now go to the states. We have got 10 states under the New York jurisdiction, and to go and explain to our people, not only the Indian Americans, but to the American people also, what is the potential of this relationship. So, the standard format that we have created is that we go, for example, last week we went to Massachusetts, Boston, and what I did is I took with me about 15 people. They were from my office looking after trade, visa, passport. I also had with me the representatives of the 6 Indian banks that are represented in New York. I had CEO of the Air India. I had representatives from USIBC, that is United States and India Business Council. I had representative of CII, Confederation of Indian Industry. I had representative of PHDCCI, FICCI, FICCI, Federation of Indian Commerce and Industry. They went with me. We are in the exciting phase of realizing new dreams, a new vision, and new ideas. We conducted a one-day interaction with the governor, with the congressman, with the congresswoman, the city officials, the governor's office, the business community. And the second day we devoted to the community, explaining them how visas could be done, how passports could be done, what are the issues regarding OCI and PIO cards. And then we also held a visa camp there, where the service providers physically accepted the visa applications there, and later on in a day or two the visas will be sent to them. This gave the service provider as well as the consulate an opportunity to explain what are the difficulties, how incomplete papers can prevent us from giving you visa or passport, and other things related to that. But we also conducted a big open interaction where about 400 people participated, and where we made presentations about the relationship, about the potential. The representatives who went with me, they did sectoral presentation, and this all was followed by a question answer session. The whole idea is fill in the information deficit, fill in the awareness deficit, and create an atmosphere that is conducive to people, conducive for people to respond to the needs of India, to the needs of this relationship.
So we are also working towards achieving this aim of filling up information deficit with your help. And the way you talk about this office, many people gradually start realizing that consul's office is not restricted to passport and visa alone. There is much more that is happening, and there is much more that may happen with your suggestions. As I understand, sitting with him, you can also write to him through this show. Do send your emails at ashokv@itvgold.com. And of course, the interaction here and there also brings some questions for him. So now here is Kunal Sharma. He finished his studies, but he has realized, sir, can you help Indian students with information resources about scholarships that are available through various organizations? because many students don't know where they may apply. Can your office provide a kind of networking for those organizations which have some scholarships with them and bring them in close contact with students?
Well, certainly we will be very happy, Kunal, to take on your suggestion. We do have certain information with us, and we also have an education wing at the consulate, but especially to help people, students like you. And if you wish to organize a networking between the students and the organizations that offer scholarships, we will be very happy to connect with you. Do write to us with details, and we are open. We are keen that the student community, Indian student community in the US, particularly in the 10 states under New York jurisdiction, comes together once in a while and is able to address, and we are able to address with them the issues that confront them while doing their studies in the US.
And while we are talking about students, I am also reminded that there is one direct admission of student abroad scheme for 2015-2016. Briefly, it is called DASA, D-A-S-A. What is it, and how some of students who are watching you may take advantage of it?
Well, the details are on the website. However, in a sense, it's meant for American children or students having American citizenship, NRI children, PIO children, and others who are studying here. If they wish to apply directly for undergraduate courses in India, this information is available, and you can directly apply through the website for these courses.
So there is probably more information is needed as to what kind of courses are available where. So, but
these are primarily engineering courses, in prestigious institutions like NITs in India.
So, just diverting a little bit from the main theme, staying with students exchange. So, one hears lots of students from India are coming to America. Is the reverse also happening? Are there many students going from America to India?
Yes, there are medical and engineering students going. There are a number of students going for internship is increasing. Number of students going for voluntary work, that's increasing. But I think still we are far short of our potential. It's important that we build a certain affinity between the educational systems, between the work environment, both the countries. So there is a free flow of ideas, and exchange of ideas and concepts that is useful for both the countries.
So there are many youth who wants to work for India. They want to feel that they are a part of India's upward movement. So I got a letter from Preshit Dalal, who's based in New Jersey. He says, do you have any specific program where young IT professionals can offer their voluntary services to serve India?
Yes, if they have, if it is an individual, we can look at it. If it is a collective effort, we can connect them with organizations in India, and we'll facilitate. If Preshit is able to take a lead, we can take this forward.
But just staying with this idea, because so much outsourcing is happening, and there is some potential for something like this to happen, but in concrete terms, where it might be applied, can you think?
The NGOs and voluntary organizations, non-profit organizations in India, they take volunteers. The educational institutes act as a interface for taking volunteers, who then go and work on some educational or social or health related projects. So I would say primarily it is NGOs and non-profit organizations, educational institutions, and health service organizations in India. These are some of the places where volunteers are required in big numbers.
As a call was given by Prime Minister Narendra Modi that bring 5 of your friends to India, encourage them, and that was a call taken sincerely by many people. That includes Jyoti Kamathur, who writes that in spite of government programs like Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, etc., the news items related to rapes, gang rapes are disturbing. And what do I tell my American friends who seek assurance from me about safety of women in India before finalizing their India trip?
Number one, that we are a country which is essentially a democracy, which believes in good governance, law and order, rule of law. So I do not see unnecessary fear of any attacks of this kind. Events sometimes happen and they are very unfortunate. Both the society and the government has repeatedly condemned, and both are making sure that the law enforcement agencies act with more diligence and a lot of preventive action, including efforts to change the mindset of males, of men, are currently on. And strictly in statistical terms, these are not big numbers, and India is huge. It offers tremendous variety, diversity from south to north and east to west. So I would appeal to people not to give in to such misgivings. In India there is a huge respect for women. Women are doing extremely well. Government has introduced several very ambitious programs for empowerment of women, and we see the results. One of the reasons why there is so much of news about rapes and sexual assaults on women is because these are being talked about now. Media is very, very proactive in highlighting them. Society is very proactive in ensuring accountability, and government is keen to go after. So that's why it is making news. It's not because of inaction so much, but it is because of increased awareness that we are talking about rape more. So this is what needs to be conveyed and communicated effectively for those who have such fears or apprehensions.
Recently, Mayor de Blasio here in New York announced inclusion of 2 Muslim holidays, but Diwali has not been included. Now, you have seen the world, you see how world moves. So do you see this is to be seen as failure of community on some level for not being able to persuade administration to make this happen? Or do you see there is something more that needs to be done? How one should read from this decision?
पहली बात तो यह है कि यहाँ की जो स्थानीय नीतियाँ हैं उसके बारे में टिप्पणी जो है जहाँ तक हो सके हम नहीं करते हैं, लेकिन हमारे भारतीय समुदाय की जो ये मांग है कि दिवाली पे पब्लिक हॉलिडे हो, ये मैं समझता हूँ कि बहुत ही समर्थनीय है और इसको हर एक को इसको सपोर्ट करना ज़रूरी है। हम भी जब भी हमारी बातचीत न्यूयॉर्क के प्रशासन से होती है तो इसका जिक्र हम करेंगे। और ये अपनी सही बात कही है, दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण बात है कि भारतीय समुदाय अभी भी जो है अलग अलग हिस्सों में बटा है, राज्यों में बटा हुआ है, भाषाओं में बटा हुआ है, प्रादेशिकताओं में बटा है। जब तक एक आवाज़ में भारतीय समुदाय बात नहीं करता है तब तक भारतीय समुदाय की आवाज़ जो है वो स्थानीय प्रशासन तक नहीं पहुंचेगी।
So that was Dhyaneshwar Muleji. Such an honor and pleasure to be with you with lots of thanks and lots of good wishes.
Thank you. बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया और हमारे दर्शकों को मेरा बहुत बहुत प्रणाम, धन्यवाद।
Once again, Ask Your CG is your own program, and do write to us at ashokv@itvgold.com. And whatever questions you have, I'm sure Muleji would address them with the best of his ability and sincerity. This is Ashok Vyas.
We are in the exciting phase of realizing new dreams, a new vision and new ideas. My name is Gnaneshwar Mule, your Consul General in New York. Ask Your CG is our joint venture with ITV to serve you better. In this show with Ashok Vyas, every month on ITV, we will share the latest developments and address all of your concerns. Ask Your CG on ITV.